Hello everyone. So, today's little Danny Kim scope will be about my book, Math Doesn't Suck. Some of you have asked me for this, and I thought, why not? Let's go ahead and take a look at the book. And I'm going to set up the camera now. Change the angle and bring it up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there we go. All right, so as some of you know, I wrote a book called Math Doesn't Suck. And there it is. This is the first math book that I wrote, and it was in 2008. Actually, 2008 is when the paperback came out. 2007 and then 2008, the paperback came out. This is a book that teaches middle school math concepts like fractions and decimals. You can see here. Fractions, decimals, percents, and more. Never be confused again. So I wrote the book that I wish that I'd had at this age. I was really scared of math in the 7th grade, and I just thought, well, what would I wished I had? What did I love back then? I loved teen magazines. I loved things like horoscopes. So there's a math horoscope inside. I was always wondering, does he have a crush on me? And I have a crush on him? And does he like me back? And all these kind of questions. So I wrote this book, and it became a bestseller instantly, which floored me. I just thought, maybe that I'd be able to help some people, and I didn't know the lasting value it would be. And now, 8 years later, it's still having an impact. I have an email that came through my website a couple days ago. Actually, I got one today too, but this one, I'll find it in a minute. It just floored me that I'm still having an impact on these kids who were really young when I wrote it, actually. I find it here. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. Hi, Danica. In 7th grade, I struggled in math. I just didn't get anything in class, and I was basically learning on my own. My mom told me that your math books had helped me. You actually tweeted her recommending Kiss My Math since I was learning pre-algebra. So we got the book, and I started reading it, and it helped so much. People do tweet me sometimes about the books, and they ask me which one I recommend. I started reading it, and it helped so much. Every single time that I start an equation, I begin with adding a negative trick, and I teach my other friends tricks too. And she goes on it, talking about 8th grade. She's taking Algebra 1, and she was getting stressed out. And it says, I got your algebra book, Pot X, Algebra Exposed, and I use it when I'm studying and don't understand something in math. These 2 books saved my life. In 1 or 2 years, I'll be getting your geometry book. So it's really great to see the impact these books are still having. And I'm just going to show you a little something from the first chapter. The first chapter is about factors, because as you may know, with fractions, you can't do much with fractions if you don't understand the factors behind them. And what I did was I talk about how if you were making a bracelet, then you might want to divide up numbers in an even way. Because what are factors? What is a factor of a number? It's a way to divide it up evenly. And so to get this image, this idea across, I said, well, we had 16 onyx beads, and we had this other kind of beads. How can we divide them up evenly so we could have even patterns that happen for the bracelet instead of random patterns, which is great too. Random is fun, but for the purposes of understanding factors, it's more useful to talk about regular patterns. So I get, especially girls, because obviously these are geared more towards girls than boys, although boys use them all the time. Tractors, yes, tractors are cool too, as are factors. So I start off helping girls understand why they would even care about something like factors, because hey, what if you're making a bracelet and you want regular patterns? You can understand what this actually means and give it a real world context, which I'm really big on. Kids growing up thinking that math isn't going to be useful in their life just kills me, because it could be useful. Do you have to use math to do well in life? No, you don't have to, but you do. You have more options, and you understand things better if you understand math. And you're in school anyway, so why not get the most out of your class and end up succeeding in life in many ways because of it? So then I talk about prime factorization, and for prime factorization, I talk about prime numbers, and I relate them to monkeys because of course primates, right? And we do factor trees. You guys remember factor trees? I'm assuming most of you guys are adults. So you split the number into any 2 factors that multiply together to get the number, and then you keep splitting it up until you get the prime numbers. 2 and 3 are both prime numbers, for example. And I encourage girls to, or kids, to circle the prime factors. And then once you circle them, they look a little bit like monkey heads, if you use your imagination. They are prime numbers, they're primates, and they are hanging low off the tree. So, yes, a prime number is a number whose only factors are 1 and itself. Nothing else divides evenly into it. Rather primitive numbers, wouldn't you say? So it's kind of like a fun way to just relate it to monkeys. Because when you're talking about monkeys, you can't really be scared. You can't have that. You don't have that fear of math when you're talking about something like monkeys hanging off of trees. I think there's a picture of monkeys in here. There they are. Here we are. Factor tree for 30. So it splits into these little monkeys, and these are the monkey heads. You can see that. There we go. Kind of. Yes, my straps are showing. This is like a sports bra thing. It's supposed to. So that's some of the stuff in the first chapter, talking about factors. And do you guys have any questions? I really haven't been paying much attention to the comments. I'm not sure how to use that, how to have that balance yet. Talk nerdy to me. Khan Academy, great website. I mean, a fantastic resource. He has stuff for kids. I am not as familiar with the kids stuff, but like high school chemistry, physics, math, it's fantastic. I mean, it's really, really fun. It's all it is just him writing and his voice, but it's really, really helpful and informative. I do something different in my books. They're more cartoony, and I tell stories to come up with ways to remember things. Like this is the birthday cake method for finding the lowest common multiple, and thinking about things like birthday cakes and monkeys just take the edge off. So what am I listening to? I'm listening to samba. This is my samba track. And the reason I'm listening to it is because I actually listened to samba music quite a lot when I was writing Math Doesn't Suck. Let's see what song this is. Again, it's going to be something I may not be able to pronounce. Lloraré las penas. And who sings that? I don't know. Casa Musica is the album. Latin Music 6. I got these songs to practice dance to. These books are not translated into Spanish as far as I know. What needs to happen for that to happen is a publisher, a Spanish language publisher has to license the rights to publish this book in Spanish. So if you know any Spanish publishers that you want to send an email to and say, hey, I want you to publish this book, then it could happen. It's actually been translated into quite a few languages, but not Spanish yet, which is so weird to me. You don't understand why we're speaking about monkeys. Well, why not speak about monkeys is really the point. Here's the thing. Math is a language. Math is a language. You can talk about anything in the language of math. You can talk about your taxes. You can talk about lipstick. You can talk about monkeys. And my philosophy is whatever you need to do to make this more accessible and more friendly to kids is what we're going to do. So you find math so hard. Monkeys are fun. Why not? Yes, math is the universal language. Well, math can be hard or it can be easy depending on how it's presented. And when I was a math trick, okay, soon. When I was a math student, math was really hard in 7th grade for me, really hard. I would come home and cry because I was afraid of my math homework. A teacher came in midway through the year who changed everything, and I suddenly understood what had been so confusing just a few weeks before, and that taught me the presentation is everything. So how about being a math teacher for 1 year? You know, I mean, I've thought about it. I'd have to take a break from everything else because I sort of throw myself into anything I'm doing, and I wouldn't want to be a mom still because I am homeschooling, so he gets my attention, my teacher attention. Scope Day is this Saturday. Oh, I'd heard about Scope Day. I think I got a tweet about that. But if everybody's scoping, then how can anybody watch? Maybe, yeah. Well, you know, maybe with my book, you wouldn't have hated math so much. If I'd had this book when I was in 7th grade, it would have saved me a lot of tears as well. I was afraid of functions. We were being taught functions, and I did not understand them. And I do teach functions somewhere in this book. Where's the next one? But the analogy that the new teacher came up with was that functions are like sausage factories. So you put stuff into it, and then the factory does something and churns out the answer. And of course, the answer is different depending on what ingredients you put in. But the factory still does the same thing to it, and that really helped me a lot. So I use that too. Oh, another question about the books being published in Spanish. I'm gonna have to tell my book agent about this and say, should we like reach out to somebody? Conjunction, junction, what's your function? What was that show? This is Electric Company? The tip trick, 20% tip. Moving the decimal point over one spot on the total and then doubling that, that's how you find 20%. Each scalper gets 15 minutes, each passes the baton. Wow, interesting. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who's been inviting followers. I really appreciate it. Little School Rock. Yes, right. That's right. Oh, Schoolhouse Rock? That was great. I did have on-set tutors. I would go back and forth between my regular school and between having tutors. So I would just take my homework assignments to set, and then the teacher would help me out with them. Wife keeps dropping algebra course. Check out my third book. It's called Hot X Algebra Exposed. If she needs pre-algebra help, then the second book is called Kiss My Math. And I can feature those in future scopes too. I can even feature different areas of this book if you guys want it. I can do all of that. So anyway, thank you so much. I am going to go downstairs now and go spend some time with my little guy. But I just wanted to check in with you and share a little bit of my first book, Math Doesn't Suck. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the hearts. You guys are amazing. And don't hesitate to tweet me your requests for future scopes. All right. Thank you so much. Let's see if I can end it.